61. A great country is like low land. It is the meeting ground of the universe, the mother of the universe. The female overcomes the male with stillness, lying low in stillness. Therefore, if a great country gives way to a smaller country, it will conquer the smaller country. And if a small country submits to a great country, it can conquer the great country. Therefore, those who would conquer must yield, and those who conquer do so because they yield. A great nation needs more people. A small country needs to serve. Each gets what it's won. It is fitting for a great nation to yield. The United States was built upon the principles of the Tao. Mind you, they didn't call it the Tao, yet freedom from tyranny was our foundation. The pursuit of happiness was written into our Constitution. For over 200 years, the United States was the lighthouse of the world. Countries look up to us. Countries respected us. We are a shining example to the world. Currently, we have fallen from our greatness. The world at large no longer trusts us. We have treaties that we signed, and a short time later, reneged on our promises. We mock our allies and praise our foes. When the slogan, "Make America Great Again," this is the start of a downfall for our country. It is not us versus them. This entire world is in bed with each other. Isolation will never work this way. Once again, without being in a state of being, a country loses its wisdoms. The founding fathers had a vision and fought for it. You could say they combined doing and being. Ultimately, this led to greatness. Presently, the United States lost the sense of being and only is doing. In this state of mind, it leads to chaos. Just think in the last 40 years, the 1% gained over $20 trillion, while the others lost hundreds of billions of dollars. Yet, we are still giving tax breaks to the rich. The United States rules for corporations and the rich, not for the common man. The Tao has been completely forgotten except for the common man. The unsung heroes of this worldwide shutdown are the immigrant farmers, the people working in restaurants and grocery workers, all the great medical workers. These are the heroes. In the meantime, Congress is still trying to pass bills. Lao Tzu said, "The female overcomes the male with stillness, lying low in stillness." We need to embrace the female to solve our problems. The female exists inside of silence. In silence lies the wisdom of the Tao. The Tao is humble. It lies low. It doesn't point fingers and mocks you. It created the entire universe. It exists inside of you. The world at large must embrace kindness and the softness of water. "62. Tao is the source of the 10,000 things. It is the treasure of the good man and the refuge of the bad. Sweet words can buy honor. Good deeds can gain respect. If a man is bad, do not abandon him. Therefore, on the day the emperor is crowned, or the 3 officers of state installed, do not send a gift of jade and a team of 4 horses, but remain still and offer the Tao. Why does everyone like the Tao so much at first? Isn't it because you find what you seek and are forgiven when you sin? Therefore, this is the greatest treasure of the universe. Commentary. The Tao is like the prodigal son in the Bible. The father accepts with open arms the one who wandered away a long time ago, and the other son who never left home. You see, the Father does not judge you or criticize you. He accepts you as you are. This chapter deals with forgiveness. Forgive your fellow man. Give love and compassion to all. Be tolerant of others. The Tao is humble, so be humble. Lao Tzu said, if a man is bad, do not abandon him. Point him to the freeway of life. He is lost on a lonely, dark road filled with potholes. Give him directions to the freeway. He will be ever so grateful. Caring for the bad as well as the good is not only the compassionate thing to do, it's also the most practical. Make your enemies your friends. Christ talked about this. We are going from me to we. We are going from doing to being. '63. Practice, not action. Work without doing. Taste the tasteless. Magnify the small. Increase the few. Reward bitterness with care. See simplicity in the complicated. Achieve greatness in little things. In the universe, the difficult things are done as if they are easy. In the universe, great acts are made up of small deeds. The sage does not attempt anything very big, and thus achieves greatness. Easy promises makes for little trust. Taking things lightly results in great difficulty. Because the sage always confronts difficulties, he never experiences them. Commentary. Practice, not action. Work without doing. Taste the tasteless. Magnify the small, increase the few. Reward bitterness with care. For most of man, these are paradoxes and don't make sense at all. Yet a sage realizes the truth behind these precious statements. When a person is a doer only, one's awareness is lacking. Remember, you only see 1% of the light spectrum. The Tao contains all of creation. These traits are embraced by the great sage. You see, it's an entirely different view in life. You can see the forest from the trees. See simplicity in the complicated. Achieve greatness in little things. The sages being in tune. The sages being in tune with the Tao is in alignment with the Tao. The Tao is simple, so they are simple. Simplicity can be quite complicated. Imagine the inner workings of the universe. Simplicity is tying it all together. In the universe, the difficult things are done as if they are easy. In the universe, great acts are made up of small deeds. The sage does not attempt anything very big, and thus achieves greatness. Once again, simplicity is the key. A human being who is a doer overthinks and makes life more complicated than he should. Most people's lives are like leaves blowing in the wind. The wise man lives in the center of the hurricane. In this state, he achieves greatness. Easy promises makes for little trust. Taking things lightly results in great difficulty. Because the sage always confronts difficulties, he never experiences them. To conquer the mind is the most difficult thing to do. The sage's mission is to be still. Therefore, his life is not difficult. He can sail through difficulties. The average man makes promises without truly pondering it over. This leads to mistrust. Consequently, one's life is difficult. "64. Peace is easily maintained. Trouble is easily overcome before it starts. The brittle is easily shattered. The small is easily scattered. Deal with it before it happens. Set things in order before there's a confusion. A tree as great as a man embraces springs up from a small shoot. A terrace 9 stories high begins with a pile of dirt. A journey of 1,000 miles starts under one's feet. He who acts defeats his own purpose. He who grasps loses. The sage does not act, and so is not defeated. He does not grasp, and therefore does not lose. People usually fall when they are on the verge of success, so give as much care to the end as to the beginning. Then there will be no failure. Therefore, the sage seeks freedom from desire. He does not collect precious things. He learns not to hold on to ideas. He brings man back to where they have lost. He helps the 10,000 things find their own nature, but refrains from action. Commentary. Peace is easily maintained. Trouble is easily overcome before it starts. The brittle is easily shattered. The small is easily shattered. Deal with it before it happens. Set things in order before there is confusion. One who lives in a state of being easily maintains peace in his life. This is his true state. One who is a doer, peace can be shattered at any time. One's peace is dependent upon the external environment, which always changes. A tree as great as a man's embraces springs up from a small shoot. A terrace 9 stories high begins with a pile of dirt. A journey of 1,000 miles starts under one's feet. A doer never plants the seeds of life inside of him. A wise man plants the seeds and takes precious care of it. He takes conscious steps in each and every moment. When he falls, he dusts himself off and continues walking. He who acts defeats his own purpose. He who grasps loses. The sage does not act and so is not defeated. He does not grasp and therefore does not lose. A doer is grasping at straws. One lives in a reactive state of mind. One who grasps at life loses. A sage lives in the present moment, so he does not grasp at anything. Therefore, he is always contented. People usually fall when they are on the verge of success, so give as much care to the end as to the beginning. Then there will be no failure. The greatest doubts on your journey come when you're inches away from the finishing line. The mind will give you all sorts of reasons why you should just quit. It's only a wise man that understands when the mind does this to completely ignore and tell the mind to shut up. He learns not to hold on to ideas. He brings man back to what they have lost. He helps the 10,000 things find their own nature, but refrains from action. A wise man just smiles at life. This is how he helps humanity. Kindness and love can move mountains. "65. In the beginning, those who knew the Tao did not try to enlighten others, but kept it hidden. Why is it so hard to rule? Because people are so clever. Rulers who try to use cleverness cheat the country. Those who rule without cleverness are a blessing to the land. These are the two alternatives. Understanding there is primal virtue. Primal virtue is deep and far. It leads all things back towards the great oneness." Commentary. In the beginning, those who knew the Tao did not try to enlighten others, but kept it hidden. This is still probably exists today. Most people are not simply interested. Lao Tzu asks, why is it so hard to rule? Unfortunately, many rulers want power and control over others. Look at our politics today. In our egocentric world of people who rule with bragging, boasting, finger-calling, degrading, mocking, and firing people who call you out. Morals and ethics are thrown out the door. No wonder the world is in chaos. We are in a global shutdown, and our leaders are acting like kindergartners. People are dying still, and they want people to go back to work. That's their priority. "66. Why is the sea king of 100 streams? Because it lies below them. Therefore is the king of 100 streams. If the sage would guide the people, he must serve with humility. If he would lead them, he must follow behind. In this way, when the sage rules, the people will not feel oppressed. When he stands before them, they will not be harmed. The whole world will support him, will not tire of him, because he does not compete. He does not meet competition." Commentary. To truly rule, one must be humble. The Tao is humble. He does not shout and ask for recognition. The sage is humble. He leads them by following behind them. This way, the people don't think they are being oppressed. By a sage being in harmony with the Tao, there will be harmony throughout the land. "67. Everyone under heaven says my Tao is great and beyond compare. Because it is great, it seems different. If it were not different, it would have vanished long ago. I have 3 treasures which I hold and keep. The first is mercy. The second is economy. The third is daring not to be ahead of others. From mercy comes courage. From economy comes generosity. From humility comes leadership. Nowadays, men shun mercy, but try to be brave. They abandon economy, but try to be generous. They do not believe in humility, but always try to be first. This is certain death. Mercy brings victory in battle and strength in defense. It is the means by which heaven saves and guards. Commentary. Lao Tzu embraces the 3 treasures of mercy, economy or moderation, and daring not to be ahead of others. We see today that our leaders shun mercy and bully people around. Look at our politics today. In our egocentric world of people who rule with bragging, boasting, finger-calling, degrading, mocking, and fire people who call you out. Morals and ethics are thrown out the door. We have leaders who are always right and will never back down. They say something and the next moment say something opposite. When they are called on it, they will lie. Such is the condition today. During this great shutdown, we need leaders who embraces these virtues. "68. A good soldier is not violent. A good fighter is not angry. A good winner is not vengeful. A good employer is humble. This is known as the virtue of not striving. This is known as ability to deal with people. This, since ancient times, has been known as the ultimate unity with heaven." Commentary. When humanity embraces the Tao, human nature will change for the better. These negative traits such as violence, anger, and being vengeful will someday disappear in the night. The Tao will rule with kindness and humility. "69. There is a saying among soldiers, I dare not make the first move, but would rather play the guess. I dare not advance an inch, but would rather withdraw a foot. This is called marching without appearing to move, rolling up your sleeves without showing your arm, capturing the enemy without attack, being armed without weapons. There is no greater catastrophe than underestimating the enemy. By underestimating the enemy, I almost lost what I value. Therefore, when the battle is joined, the underdog will win." Commentary. There is a saying among soldiers, I dare not make the first move, but would rather play the guess. I dare not advance an inch, but would rather withdraw a foot. This is called marching without appearing to move, rolling up your sleeves without showing your arm, capturing the enemy without attack, being armed without weapons. War is insane. Even soldiers know that. I used to work for the Navy SEALs in Cardenon. You would think that they like to go to war. To be quite frank, they would prefer to have a bottle of Corona in their hands and tending the barbecue. War is the absolute last resort. Unfortunately, the United States almost loves to go to war. Soldiers would love to retreat from the front lines. I love what Stefan Studny says about this passage. Also, the warrior who is eager to advance is the one who nurtures the illusion that war brings good thing to the winner. There are no winners in war. Those who know this neither invite to it nor hurry to advance in it. The hesitant warrior marches without marching, which is to say that he tries as much as he can to win the war without doing battle. If prepared properly, a war can be won before the battle begins. To charge without enemy is to arm the country so well in times of peace that war is avoided or swiftly won. It's arming to avoid war, not to wage it. The same can be said for seizing without weapons. There is no greater catastrophe than underestimating the enemy. By underestimating the enemy, I almost lost what I valued. Therefore, when the battle is joined, the underdog will win. This passage brings to mind the American Revolution War with Great Britain. Here you had a world-class military that was highly trained. The British forces thought this would be an easy war to win. You had this ragtag army, many of them barefoot and not trained at all. Yet they had the wit and tenacity to carry on. They were fighting for freedom. Never underestimate your enemy, especially when you are the tyrant. "70. My words are easy to understand and easy to perform. Yet no man under heaven knows them or practices them. My words have ancient beginnings. My actions are disciplined. Because men do not understand, they have no knowledge of me. Those that know me are few. Those that abuse me are honored. Therefore the sage wears a rough cloth and holds the jewel in his heart." Commentary. What is it in man that we are so stubborn? Everyone knows the world is in chaos. We're in the midst of a worldwide shutdown. The entire world is forced to be in isolation. Yet, when we come out of this, will we change our ways? Just think, Lao Tzu left China because of the rat race that existed in China at that time. The whole vast areas of human stupidity were rapid upon the land. Nobody was the slightest interested in the vast mysteries of the Tao. Only a few people grasped that wisdom. Looks like it got to a boiling point for Lao Tzu, and he got so frustrated he left the country to never come back again. The world has been forced into isolation. Mother Nature has told us to go to our rooms and close the door. Think about what you are doing. What can you do to change? I'll tell you when you can leave this room. 71. Knowing ignorance is strength. Ignoring knowledge is sickness. If one is sick of sickness, then one is not sick. The sage is not sick because he is sick of sickness. Therefore, he is not sick. Commentary. Common sense is uncommon. When I was in my teens, I believed in preventative medicine. My train of thought was, this is the only body you get, so you might as well take care of it. I have been sick a few times in my life, and I didn't like it. I have been drunk a few times, and I didn't like it. Being in harmony with your mind, body, and soul brings contentment to an individual. It's like one is surfing with the waves of life and having a grand time. Mankind has been stuck in the riptides. Many people drown in the process. Look at how addictions can cause sudden death, or over time will lead to your death. A wise man yearns to learn from his mistakes. He knows that learning is 2 steps forward and 1 step backward. He learns to fine-tune the guitar of life. The ignorant man laughs at the wise man. How stupid are you? Only a fool would lead a life like yours. The wise man just smiles. He has nothing to say or prove. (72) When man lack a sense of awe, there will be disaster. Do not intrude in their homes. Do not harass them at work. If you do not interfere, they will not weary of you. Therefore the sage knows himself, but makes no show, has self-respect, but is not ignorant. He lets go of that and chooses this. Commentary. When a man doesn't discover the sense of all inside himself, there will be a disaster. This worldwide shutdown is a practical experience of this. Chaos resides throughout the land. Do not intrude in their homes. Do not harass them at work. If you do not interfere, they will not weary of you. Lao Tzu is given guidance on how to rule. Rule with kindness and benevolence. Rule with humility. Be like water. If you do this, the world will love you. Don't mock others. If you do, many people will despise you. Rule with ethics and morals. Be in harmony with the Tao. Don't be arrogant. Unfortunately, this has gone from the current landscape. When a nation loses morals and ethics, it's a sign that the ship is sinking. (73) A brave and passionate man will kill. or be killed. A brave and calm man will always preserve life. Of these two, which is good and which is harmful? Some things are not favored by heaven. Who knows why? Even the sage is unsure of this. The Tao of heaven does not strive, and yet it overcomes. It does not speak, and yet is answered.
If men
it does not
are not
ask,
afraid to die,
yet is supplied with all its needs. It seems to have no aim, and yet its purpose
live in
is
constant fear
fulfilled.
dying,
Heaven's
and breaking the laws
means
means
that a man will
through
be
its
killed.
meshes
Or
Who will
course
dare to break
nothing
the law?
slips through. There is always an
Commentary.
official execution.
A brave
if
and
you passionate
take his
man
place
will kill
is like trying
or
to be a
killed.
master carpenter.
A brave and
cutting
calm
wood.
man will
If you
always
try to cut the
preserve
wood like a master
life.
carpenter, you will only
Of these
hurt
two,
your hand.
which is good and
Commentary.
which is harmful?
We come into this world,
And
some
we leave
things
this world. Everything
are not
is created,
favored
and destroyed
by heaven. Even
Who knows
the
why?
universe.
Even
There's
the
always
sage
an
is
official
unsure of this.
executioner.
War
If you try
is
to take
obsolete,
his place,
and
it's
will
like
always
trying to be a master
A man
carpenter
has been fighting
cutting wood for thousands
If you try
of
to
years.
cut wood
like a
Mind
master
you,
carpenter,
God
you
does
will
not
only
take
side
hurt
your hand.
Yes, some things
are not
don't
favored
try to be
by
a
heaven.
master executioner.
When man is
It is
adored
not your
and hasn't
job.
discovered
One
the
of the
jewel
laws
within,
is thou shalt
chaos
not
exists.
kill.
We
Some
then have
countries
leaders
still have
no
laws
sense
for the
of
death
morals or ethics.
penalty. Yet
They will
people
send
in
their
those
young
countries
to fight their
still
own battles.
commit murder. The Tao
Even
doesn't
if they are
judge.
afraid of
It
dying,
simply is.
they commit
But
brutal
in my
crimes.
personal opinion,
Somewhere
it may be
there
slightly
is a
biased
disconnect
towards the ones whose life is spent
In the
being
U.S.,
in harmony
prisons
with
are
the
for
Tao.
profit. This
If
is
that
our
is the
true
case,
nature. They don't want to
Life is like a video game.
rehabilitate
We either
anyone.
advance or
They
stay
make
on
money
mundane
while you're in
levels of
prison.
being.
In Sweden,
Undo it.
they are closing
We just
printers
strive through the
because
life
inmates
aimlessly without
are treated
purpose.
with care
A wise
and
man
brought back
wise
into
man
society
finds that this game
as healthy
is the most
individuals.
entertaining video game in the universe. Life will throw you curveballs, both internally and externally. It is an exciting game. The Tao wants to see how you will react. You can talk a great story, but the Tao will give you challenging events for you. Mind you, we are in a worldwide shutdown. The Tao of heaven does not strive, and yet it overcomes. It does not speak, and yet it is answered. It does not ask, yet it is supplied with all its needs. It seems to have no aim, and yet its purpose is fulfilled. Heaven's net casts wide. Through its meshes or course, nothing slips through. To a doer, these words make no sense. To a wise man, these words might seem to be a paradox, yet from his heart, they make perfect sense.
$75.
Why?
Are the people starving? Because the rulers eat up the money in taxes. Therefore, the people are starving. Why are the people rebellious? Because the rulers interfere too much. Therefore, they are rebellious. Why do the people think so little of death? Because the rulers demand too much of life. Therefore, people take death lightly. Having little to live on, one knows better than to value life too much. Commentary. This sounds like today. Last year, a major bill was passed that allowed the 1% of the people who have more money than the 99% pass. This gave them even more trillions of dollars. 1 out of every 5 kids doesn't have enough food for the day. The United States is turning into a third world country. I'm writing this during the worldwide shutdown. True leadership is missing, except Governor Cuomo. from New York. He is governing with ethics and morals at the same time is level-headed. The supposedly common man got tax breaks, but in actuality, many people had to pay more taxes. It is the old switch and bait routine. Why do the people think so little of death? Because the rulers demand too much of life. Therefore, the people take death lightly. Having little to live on, one knows better than to value life too much. For many people, life is arduous and extremely difficult. How many Americans get bankrupt due to highly inflated medical bills? If you need surgery, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. Even your 401k plans are a joke. I just got my statement yesterday, and I lost 18% of my portfolio. Congressmen get about $180,000 a year when they leave Congress. How can we think so little of death when you're just trying to survive? The same conditions occurred when Lasso was alive. The ruler can lead humanity to either heaven or hell.
"76. A man is born gentle and weak. At his death it is hard and stiff. Green plants are tender and filled with sap. At their death they are withered and dry. Therefore the stiff and unbending is the disciple of death. The gentle and yielding is the disciple of life. Thus an army without flexibility never wins a battle. A tree that is unbending is easily broken. The hard and strong will fall. The soft and weak will overcome." Commentary. We all come from the Tao. When we are born, we are gentle and weak. The common man thinks this is a weakness. We have leaders who consider this to be pushovers. Yet over time, society teaches you to live inside of the box. We become stiff and our thinking is limited. Consequently, by being out of touch of the Tao, we get hardened in life. Society gets hardened. Politics gets hardened. Common sense is uncommon. The leaders rule with political power and along party lines. Ethics and morals have long gone left the picture. Someday, this will change. Remember how powerful water is. Water is soft and weak, but it can erode any rock. 77. The Tao of heaven is like the bending of a bow. The high is lowered, and the lower is raised. If the string is too long, it is shortened. If it is not enough, it is made long. The Tao of heaven is to take from those who have too much and give to those who do not have enough. Man's way is different. He takes from those who do not have enough and give to those who already have too much. But man has more than enough and gives it to the world. Only the man of Tao. Therefore, the sage works without recognition. He achieves what he has to be done without dwelling on it. He does not try to show his knowledge. Commentary. The Tao's principles are of infinite virtue. There is a thread of love tying the whole universe together. The same problems they had in China during Lao Tzu's time, we still have them around today. The Tao of heaven is to take from those who have too much and give to those who do not have enough. Man's way is different. He takes from those who do not have enough and give to those who already have too much. When man has more than enough and gives it to the world, only the man of Tao. How true this is. Laws are passed to make the rich richer and the poor poorer. No wonder America is in such a downward spiral. We spend over 60% of our budget on defense. The defense industry is making trillions of dollars. During this global shutdown, we need true leaders that once again can embrace ethics and morals. Under heaven, nothing is more soft and yielding than water. Yet for attacking the solid and strong, nothing is better. It has no equal. The weak can overcome the strong. The supple can overcome the stiff. Under heaven, everyone knows this, yet no one puts it into practice. Therefore, the sages says, he who takes upon himself the humiliation of the people is fit to rule them. He who takes upon himself the country's disasters deserves to be king of the universe. The truth often sounds paradoxical. Commentary. Life is a grand paradox. What man thinks and what the Tao thinks are on two different wavelengths. Our current administration rules with bragging, boasting, finger-calling, degrading, mocking, and firing people who call you out on this. It's considered the new norm. The Tao rules like a newborn baby. It is soft and tender. It's like water. Water can erode any rock over time. During this global shutdown, nature is sending mankind to their rooms to think things over. Note, not a bullet was shot. What we think is normal and what the Tao is a difference between night and day. We need Mother Earth. Mother Earth does not need us. '79. After a bitter quarrel, some resentment must remain. What can one do about it? Therefore, the sage keeps his half of the bargain, and does not expect his due. A man of virtue performs his part, but a man without virtue requires others to fulfill their obligations. The Tao of heaven is impartial. It stays with good men all the time. Commentary. How true this is. Many people say many wars are started by previous wars. The Germans lost in World War I. Consequently, much hardness occurred to him. There remained bitterness. The bitterness was a door where Adolf Hitler could come in. We see this all the time in our politics. Both parties quarrel so much that the only fruits are bitterness. Nothing can get done. They can't compromise. In the last few years, the United States backed out of two treaties, the Iran deal and the Paris Accord. The Iran deal took 5 years to reach an agreement. 10 countries around the world ratified the treaty. Yet, our administration backed out of them. Our word is not worth anything anymore. When the treaty is signed, it means countries should follow it. We have lost faith with the world. Our current administration admonishes our allies and praises our enemy. To be quite frank, the United States has lost its virtue. The President demonstrates to the world the current state of America thinking. A wise leader does not twitter to the world at 3 in the morning. Whatever comes to his mind goes into his tweet. True communication is deep thinking. A tweet is shallow thinking. No wonder we're in such a mess. 80. A small country has fewer people, though there are machines that can work 10 to 100 times faster than man. They are not needed. The people take death seriously and do not travel far. Though they have boats and carriages, no one uses them. Though they have some armor and weapons, no one displays them. Men return to the knotting of rope in place of riding. Their food is plain and good, their clothes fine but simple, their houses secure. They are happy in their ways, though they live within sight of their neighbors. And crowing cocks and barking dogs are heard across the way, yet they leave each other in peace while they grow old and die. Commentary. Probably the most advanced nations today are the Scandinavian countries. They rule with what is good for the common man. Many of them work 32 hours a week. They have at least 1.5 months of vacation time. Many have 1.5 years of parental leave. This includes both parents. Nobody has to worry about paying thousands in medical bills. They are at the top of learning around the world. Universities are free. They are closing down prisons because they don't need them. I find it a paradox that our leaders mock this system. It seems to me this is what America stands for. They proclaim that many of their guiding principles came from the United States. America is in chaos, yet our leaders are still fighting with one another. A global shutdown is occurring, yet we are in a downward spiral. '81. Truthful words are not beautiful. Beautiful words are not truthful. Good men do not argue. Those who argue are not good. Those who know are not learned. The learned do not know. The sage never tries to store things up. The more he does for others, the more he has. The more he gives to others, the greater his abundance. The Tao of heaven is pointed, but does no harm. The Tao of the sage is work without effort. Commentary. In Luke 6:31, do to others as you would have them do to you. This golden rule was also in China around 500 years before Christ. A man who is in harmony with the Tao is in complete alignment with the golden rule. Day by day, he learns how to be in greater harmony with the Tao. He understands that worldly knowledge is limited. The wisdom of the Tao is infinite. The more he gives, the more he receives.